Brainiacs. What's cracking, everybody? Matthew Turner here with the Matrix Minds. It is Friday, interview day. Gonna have a great night talking with Mr. David Oates on how the soul speaks in reverse. Talk a little bit about how the subconscious mind can communicate via reverse speech with David. Been an all-week wait for this man. No doubt about it. We're going to have an interesting show. We'll dive deep into the subconscious mind and how the soul can speak in reverse. Hang tight, Brainiacs. Let's do this. It's Friday night.
Matrix. We're in the Matrix. We're in the Matrix.
Yeah. Let's do this. One of the fastest growing talk shows on the internet. Radio show. Welcome aboard, Matrix Minds. One of the most controversial conspiratorial shows on the internet. The Matrix Minds. And that's right. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. Paranormal, huh? Conspiracy, huh? UFOlogy, hidden Egyptology, and anything and everything we can get our hands on. Let's go. Welcome aboard. The Matrix Minds. The Matrix Minds. Your show.
Take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth. Stay in Wonderland. All I'm offering is the truth.
Alrighty then, alrighty. I hope everybody that is tuning in is having a wonderful, wonderful Friday night. I'm joined by, like I said, Mr. David Oates, who is an author of Reverse Speech, founder of Reverse Speech, The New Theory About Language, Unveiling the Truth, and It's Only a Metaphor. David is a teacher as well as a lecturer who has been all over, from what I understand, all over this great planet lecturing and talking about reverse speech and how the subconscious mind speaks through that reverse speech. Am I right, David? Welcome to the Matrix Minds, my friend.
Correct.
That's true. I heard you say.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I've lectured all over the world. I've been doing it for 38 years now, so I've had a fairly long and illustrious career that is still going very actively. So, yeah.
Now, where did all of this begin? Can I ask you where and how did you even begin to touch on any of this and all of this?
Oh, it goes right back to 1984 in a little country town in Australia called Berry, B-E-R-R-I, and
Okay.
It's a little country town, though, population of about 5,000 or 6,000, I guess. And I was a youth worker there, and I was running a halfway house for street kids and the like. And one of the kids gave me a recording of a sermon this evangelist was preaching, traveling through Australia. It's all about rock and roll music being the devil's music, and if you play records backwards, you can hear these satanic messages. And I listened to the sermon, and I go, what a load of rubbish. So I pulled out a copy of Stairway to Heaven, which they claim had all these satanic messages. Now I'm bit of an audio buff and electronics guy. I'm a ham radio operator. I've got a good ear for audio and no audio well. And so I'm playing Stairway to Heaven backwards, and I hear these messages that they claim was there. I'm going, well, what the hell is that? And
we've all did that, David.
I know. Well, I know. Yeah, everyone's done it. And you play it backwards, you go, I can hear that. And then you go and check the track, and there's no intentional no alteration to the track. There's not a sub-track or anything under it or anything embedded into it. And I go, gee. So I pull out another tape, and I run that backwards. I go, there's stuff here too. And I go, what the hell is this? And it really became, and I didn't buy the satanic theory at all. That was a load of rubbish, as I was concerned. And I was just really curious as to how was this getting there, you know. And then I graduated from music to speech in '87. And I accidentally found an example on Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. Here, let me play this, because this changed my whole direction altogether. So here's Neil Armstrong in 1969.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
And you play it backwards, and I heard him say, man will spacewalk.
Man will spacewalk.
There it is once, and here's again, a little bit slower.
Man will spacewalk.
And I'm going,
Wow.
what the dickens is that?
Wow.
I know, and it was like a real, it was like really between the eyes, you know, because, I mean, it was a spacewalk. What's the moon? It's a spacewalk. So I'm going, this is crazy. And then I played a few more tracks backwards on speech. Here, let me play the second one I found. This is all back in '87. And,
Okay. You've been at this for quite some time then.
Oh yeah, well I'm the founder of the field. Yeah, I've been doing it all my life, or well, all my adult life.
Right.
So anyway, so this is the second one I found. This is a live commentary of JFK's assassination in Dallas in '63.
Has been advised to stand by for a severe gunshot wound. The president's car is now going past me. The limousine is now traveling at a very high rate of speed.
Actually, it starts back here where the reversal is.
Parkland Hospital, there has been a shooting. Parkland Hospital has been advised to stand by for a severe gunshot wound.
And you play that in reverse, and it says he's shot bad. Hold it. Try and look up.
He shot bad. Hold it. Fire look up.
And again.
He shot bad. Hold it. Fire look up.
So I
Wow.
go, well, that's bizarre. That's bizarre, because that's what he would have been thinking at the time. You know, well, he's shot. You know, hold it. Look around. What do you see? Try and look up. What can you see? And then I was just hooked from that moment on. And it was like, there's something a whole lot more to this than satanic messes in rock and roll. You know?
Right. Oh yeah.
And,
Right.
yeah, then I started looking at friends who came over to my house. I'd record them and play them backwards and find things like what they were thinking and feeling and hidden secrets about their life. And then after doing this for a few weeks, in April of '87, I actually I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning with these two words in my mind, and they were reverse speech. I said, I know, I'll call this reverse speech. And I sat down at my computer, which was an old Commodore 64, and I wrote my theory. And the theory states that language is bi-level, forwards as well as backwards. As the human brain is constructing the sound of speech, it's putting those speech sounds together in such a way that we're saying two things at once. One is forwards from the conscious, and the other is in reverse from the unconscious. So I maintain this is the natural function of language. There's nothing satanic or evil or any spiritual. Well, we'll get onto the spiritual as we go, but but it's not created by external negative evil forces. It's created by the mind. It's a natural human function. And so I wrote my book, and I got a lot of publicity in Australia, which is obviously where I'm from, but you can tell by my accent. And then that led me to get some articles published in America, and I lectured in America first in '89, and got overwhelming acceptance, and so I moved to America to live in '89. I lived in the States for 10 years, and gee whiz, travelled all over America lecturing and teaching, and did all the radio shows and TV shows. Even did Larry King Live, which is right up the top of my pride list.
Oh wow, right.
Yeah, and I've written 9 books on reverse speech now, so just about to start on my 10th. This is what I do for a living. I've since developed a whole therapeutic practice around it, and I have a very active practice where I work with clients over the phone, and I use reverse speech to diagnose their problems, and in many cases to give solutions as well. So reverse speech is the voice of the unconscious or the spirit at its deepest levels, which we're going to get into as this show goes on. It is our unconscious mind speaking, our real self, who we really are, what we're really thinking and really feeling, and
Now, David.
So that's how I got into it, and here I am, 38 years later, still doing it. So.
Now, can question? I just throw this out. I got some notes here for you before we actually dig deep and go into this. Can anyone primarily do this, as far as they're trying to find their let's just say they're having a hissy fit like throughout the day and they're angry, and let's just say this: your wife's a smart ass and she records the conversation. Are there going to be subliminal, subconscious things come out of your own mouth that your wife? You right?
Yes, it will. Yes, there will. And I do advise people not to do it on their spouse. I got a couple of broken marriages that tell you not to do that.
Oh my God!
Sometimes
I was wondering, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes things are best left unconscious. But yeah, look, people get software. We sell software to find it, or there's lots of software packages on the internet that'll run tapes in reverse, and when people get the software and they run themselves backwards, they run their wife or spouse backwards, and they ring her up and go, well, I've just pissed off my best friend,
Right. Right. No, I'm being asked by Jay Pashuk, one of the show sponsors, one of those show podcaster donators. He's like, is there some software that can play speech backwards? Yes, Jay. I myself use Audacity. That's what I use. You guys have heard me use that before.
Yeah, Audacity.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Dave.
Audacity software. Yes, that does it well.
Mm-hmm.
We have our own software that you can get from our website.
All right.
Another program that does it too is Goldwave. That's a really good software program. There's lots of them around, but Audacity's good. Audacity's free, I think. You'll have to pay for it if you want to get it from our website. So,
okay.
Audacity may be better to go.
No, David, which one of these books? Let me go to your books real quick. I want to talk about them.
Sure.
Okay. So let me get to a screen
Sure.
where I can bring each one of them up, and I want to go over them with you. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'd
like to do that.
Now, right now, we're on davidoates.com. We're on your home site here, and I want to primarily. What's that?
Yeah, I don't know whether all my books are on that site. Anyway, go on. Yeah. Okay.
On the bottom, it's got your books listed. So I'm gonna try to bring them up make them a little bit bigger.
Okay.
There we go. Reverse speech. Which one of the books did you found first? What was the first book that you come out with?
Okay. The first book I wrote in 1987 was called Beyond Backward Masking.
Okay, that would be that one. Okay.
And that was the very first one.
I got nothing.
Theory first. Oh, it's not there?
No. If I click on it, it doesn't give me a description.
You might want to go to my publisher's. All right, hang on. Let me get you a link to my publisher's website.
Okay.
And that'd be the easiest. Here we go. I'll just post this into Messenger. Here we are. Okay, there's all my books on my publisher's website. So the first one I wrote was in 1987. That was Beyond Backward Masking. And that was an analysis of music.
Yeah.
What I found researching music. And it also presented the theory of reverse speech for the very first time. Okay? So that was the first book. And then the second book, I don't think it's up on the publisher's website yet. I only just sent them the PDF file a couple of weeks ago, so I don't think they've got that ready yet. But that one is called Voices from the Unconscious, and that goes into great depth into reverse speech theory, or a lot of common observations I've made and connections with the phenomena. Like, for example, some reversals can be congruent. They can confirm the forward speech, and some can be incongruent. They can contradict the forward speech. So I talk about all these little common features of the phenomena, and then the next book I wrote is a big one. It's called It's Only a Metaphor. It's my autobiography. And it's 150,000 words. It's huge.
Damn.
Sorry?
I said, damn, David. That's a lot of words.
Yeah, it is a lot of words. Well, it goes right into how I developed it and works I've done for the CIA. And if anyone wants to Google reverse speech CIA, you'll see one of my books up on their website. So I did lecture to the CIA, and they have looked into my work, and they released it all under Freedom of Information Act a few years ago.
Wow.
So it's only a metaphor. That's autobiography. It goes right into reverse speech and how I discovered it and all the trials and tribulations along the way, and work with government agencies and death threats and house fires, and it's a ride. So, and then, gee, I don't know. Do you want me to keep on going?
Yeah, well, of course.
There's a lot.
Now, my question,
all right.
since you mentioned our show's favorite listeners, the CIA. Okay, why would they be interested in your lectures and your understanding and the teaching of reverse speech? Why would the CIA be interested in this?
Oh, it's the most ultimate spy tool. Wow, gee whiz. If you can tap into the minds of your enemies and see what they're thinking, I mean, that's what reverse speech will do. It will show you their thoughts, and yeah, definitely. I've worked with the police department on several occasions, and reverse speech revealed locations of murder weapons in one case, and where a body was in another case, and it's used in the law enforcement investigative intelligence agencies. It's really quite profound what it can do.
So what you're trying to tell me, in short terminology, and let's just break this down into layman's terms, is the mind is going to say words, right? The mind says words.
Yes.
That the unconscious mind
Yes.
is trying to process, or what is this? I looked into this a little bit, but not a lot. I was going to wait for this interview.
Okay. All right. Well, it's coming on many levels. Okay. On the surface level, the thoughts of the conscious mind can appear in reverse speech. So, like, if you're talking to me and you think it's a load of rubbish, okay? If I was to record you and run you in reverse, I may actually hear you say the words, "This is a load of rubbish," okay? So that's what you're thinking. I mean, you come home to your wife. You stop off the pub on the way home. You don't want your wife to know, so you walk to the front door. You say, "Sorry, lady, sorry I'm late, honey. I was held up at work." And you might say backwards, "I went to the pub on the way home." So that is on the surface level. That is where it taps into the conscious mind. Now, at deeper levels, it gets into the unconscious mind. It will tell us reasons why you dropped off of the pub. Because I have a deep insecurity complex and I use alcohol to drown it down. The murderer might say, I was abused as a child, and so I lash out at others. So that you're going to have one dialogue which will just communicate the straightforward conscious thoughts or truth. And then when you get down to the unconscious, it will communicate the reasons and the motive behind your forward speech and your forward actions. Then it starts to get into metaphor and archetype when it gets down to the deepest level. It will use a phrase like, hang on, let me play you one. Let me pull one up. Okay. When the unconscious mind is speaking, it will often speak in metaphor, using words like wolf, Lancelot, goddess, Garden of Eden. Where's the one I'm looking for? Here's what I'm looking for. Okay, this is a classic metaphor from the unconscious. This is on me talking to a client. So here's the forwards.
You struck me as a very enthusiastic guy. I mean, certainly the time we've been together and you've got all full of ideas. Is this latest? Is this just a latest idea? Is it just all froth and barble, or do you really want to get out?
And backwards, you'll hear me say, see the wolf fallen in the lake.
See the wolf fallen in the lake. See the wolf fallen in the lake.
And that's backwards.
Okay.
So, what does that mean?
Yeah, what the hell does that mean?
I know. It took me decades to answer that question. Yes, when you're getting into the unconscious, you start speaking in metaphor and archetype and cryptic language. I have written a metaphor dictionary. It has about 1,000 different reverse speech metaphors in it. And the way I got their interpretation, excuse me a sec. Sorry about that.
Sure.
The way I got their interpretation was in context. Was that I noticed that when someone would use the word wolf in reverse, they were talking forwards about drive and motivation, okay, moving forwards. I noticed when someone was talking about lake in reverse, they'd be talking about emotions, okay? Now, this client I'm talking to had just had a nervous breakdown, and he can no longer motivate himself. So when I say see the wolf fall into the lake, I'm recognizing that his wolf, which is his drive and motivation, is drowning in a sea of emotions, or the lake. So see the wolf fall in the lake.
Metaphor, right.
But it took me many years to get to that stage.
That's deep, Dave. That's really, really deep, David. That is beyond subliminal. That is like emotional spirit. It's like spiritual, emotional. That's just like, you know what I'm saying? It's really deep. That's the spirit saying what it sees, but yet the mind says something completely different. Do you know what I mean? That's deep shit right there, buddy.
I know. Yeah, I know. It's an amazing phenomenon. I mean, let's go even deeper still. And listen to this reversal here. This is a guy who's got financial problems, and he's talking to a tape recorder, looking for a tape recorder back in those days. And I still think in those terms. I still say tape recorder. They don't exist anymore. Anyway, he's he's making a recording as to why does he have financial problems.
Does it further for us to put more energy and money and effort?
And backwards he says, I'll play it and I'll tell you what it means. Backwards he says, you're frightened, lean on me.
You're frightened, lean on me. You're frightened, lean on me.
Now, okay, so that is his spirit talking to his conscious mind, saying, hey, listen, I know you're frightened. You're up. You're scared. lean on me, trust in me. And at the deepest levels of reverse speech, as you advertise on your ad for the show, I noticed, reverse speech is the voice of the spirit or the voice of the soul talking to us. And it is constantly there, constantly giving us advice and guidance. I mean, I'm working with my clients. The spirit knows everything, and it can give us advice and instructions and what we need to do, and that's probably one of the most profound things I've discovered in my research. And it took me many years to work that out.
Right.
I mean, this is not something that I suddenly worked out in one night, you know. And but you can see entire conversations transpiring between the spirit and the conscious mind. And you know, we all know that voice exists. I mean, we all feel it. I mean,
well, it's blowing my mind, David. I don't mean to cut you. It's blowing my mind how at a subconscious. Well, okay, let's try to understand this a little bit better. We all know that we all know that we have an aspect of ourselves known as the soul or the spirit. So it almost sounds as though the spirit is coming through subconscious mind, speaking, and the conscious mind is translating it, or it's formulating words through a conscious speak. Is that right? How
sure, that would be, well, yeah, it's formulating words that are coming out backwards. Yeah. So it's and it's coming from three levels: conscious, unconscious, and spirit. Okay.
Gotcha.
All three parts of it can speak. Actually, gets down to the collective unconscious too, but that's another topic we might get onto as we go. But let's not overload you with too much all at once. So, look, it's a very complex phenomenon. I mean, it's dealing with the most complex part of the human psyche, which is the mind and the spirit. And it contains wonderful lessons and secrets of life, and oh gee whiz, all sorts of things. Here, let me. This is a reversal that'll show you the depth that it's coming from. Here we go. This is me on a radio show, actually, and I'm talking about the spiritual aspects of reverse speech.
All right.
So, here it forwards.
Sometimes people ask me, does reverse speech endorse any particular religion? And the answer to that is no. There are no deities or religions that reverse speech endorses or says this is right or this is wrong. It just talks about the soul and the endlessness of life. And that in itself is very powerful.
Indeed.
And backwards it says, it's the voice in heaven.
The voice in heaven.
The voice in heaven.
And again.
The voice in heaven.
And that's where it's coming from. It's the
Wow.
voice in heaven. It's the voice of the divine inside of us that it is speaking. And the Christians called it the voice of Satan. I say it's exactly the opposite of the voice of Satan.
Right. Well, your one reverse analysis clearly said, "I am with you." Right? It says, I'm with you. So how could it possibly be coming from a satanic dogma? There's no way. That is, unless the person themselves are satanic. I don't buy into that at all. I'm with you. It comes from a deeper.
It is so not satanic. It is the opposite of that. It is the divine. It's if you, I don't know. I don't want to get into religious stuff, but the Bible, Jesus says that in the last days, all of our hidden thoughts will be shouted from the rooftops. And I think reverse speech is one way in which that is going to happen, because it taps into the voice of the heart, and who we really are.
Right.
And yeah, so there you go. That's the implications of it, and it's also one of the reasons why it's taken so long, despite all my intense effort to get it out there. Why it's taken so long to take off, because it's so powerful. That's not the right word. It's so significant. There we go, and so profound in what it's got to say about a whole bunch of things, religion and the psyche and human behaviour and the state of the soul and who is God. And I cover all of these questions in my many books. I mean, 2 books I've released this year so far. One is called The Still Small Voice Within, which goes right into the spiritual aspects of reverse speech. What does reverse speech teach us about God and the soul and what is life here for? And the other book I released this year, which is completely out of left field, totally nothing to do with the spirit or soul at all, is called The Big Con. And it's all about COVID and what reverse speech tells us about COVID and why COVID is here. And as you can tell from the name, The Big Con, it gives a little bit of idea what the book is all about. The con of COVID. Well, not that COVID itself is the con, because that certainly is there. Anyway, we'll get into that.
Well, we gotta use code words on that word. The algorithm will pick it up, David, and then we won't have a show.
Right.
So when we talk about that and how, just call it.
We won't even go there.
You can go there. I would love to, and everybody would love for you to talk about the great facade, right? But we got to use the C word, like as in like I don't know, viri or that C word or just whatever. Just play an analogy. It's crazy how you mentioned that. Oh yeah, go ahead, continue.
You know what? I did a radio show to England this week, and they were telling me they can't even talk about it. They've got written instructions from the British government. They can't even talk negatively about anything like that, or they'll be pulled off the air.
Yeah.
And I'm going, gee, that's Big Brother going to the extreme. It's getting scary.
Oh yeah. Well, we're to the point where, you know what? Here's the thing. Here's where I'm at on the show. Okay. I'm not going to promote it.
Sure.
I'm not going to promote it, and I'm not going to deny it. If you want to go get it, then go out and get it. If you want to go get the jab, go get the jab. I'm not going to. Everybody already knows my standpoint on it. Simple as that. I don't want shit to do with it, and it's just whatever. They know my standpoint, but I mean, again, you know,
I totally get it. I totally get it.
But it's crazy.
It's a shame that in today's democracy, idea of free speech, that we can't air these thoughts without having to use code words.
I know. Yeah.
Wrong.
Well, maybe we should learn. Listen, everybody. Listen, heads up, everybody. Maybe we should learn reverse speech. Go visit David's website. Learn reverse speech, and then we can just talk to one another in reverse, and then the CIA is really going to be screwed, because then they're going to have to forward our reverse speech to understand what the hell we're saying.
Right.
There we go. End of story. We win. I mean, is that possible, David? Is that possible to just like try to talk in reverse?
Oh. I've never tried it. It hasn't been an emphasis of my work. Well, actually, I have tried it a couple of times. There's some people who can do that. They've got a natural talent to speak in reverse.
Yeah.
They contact our officers every now and then. I can speak backwards, you know. And
I think
that's very interesting. But
call it pig Latin, don't they, David? Don't they call it pig Latin?
Yeah, that's right. I think you're absolutely right.
There we go. We need to learn pig Latin. Everybody just needs to learn pig Latin. And then we'll have them. There you go. We'll start doing the show in pig Latin, Dave. That sounds good to you? We could talk all about the viri.
That'll throw them off.
That'll throw them off. All right. I had to bring some levity to the show.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So
all right. So where will we go? Why not I don't know what we can talk about and what we can't. I tell you what, we won't go there. We'll look at some of the latest stuff on Biden. How about that?
All right. I was just saying, whatever your talking points are. I didn't get to talk to you throughout the week, and it kind of scared the hell out of me. But I didn't get any talking points. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was I supposed to sing you something? I apologise. Oh, right. Yeah, no, well, look, I've got hundreds of thousands of reversals on my computer. I can go anywhere. So I did a radio show last week, and I predicted we're going to see some terrorist attacks very soon.
Oh, boy.
And I based that on a reversal I found on Joe Biden last week when he's talking about the situation in Afghanistan. So listen to this.
Make sure Al-Qaeda could not use Afghanistan as a base from which to attack us again. We did that. We severely degraded Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. We never gave up the hunt for Osama bin Laden, and we got him.
So when he says, he's saying there's no terrorist problem in Afghanistan, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he says backwards, and they plan the dark.
And they planned it out.
So the way I interpret that was dark, devious deeds. They're planning something dark and devious, okay? So he knew when he gave that speech that there was terrorist activity going on that was being planned out at the time. So he lied to the American people in that speech. And I went on the radio, 2 or 3 radio shows last week and said, we're going to see terrorist attacks very soon. And what happened 2 days ago, or 3 days ago now, the Kabul airport got hit. And that's just the start of it. It's going to accelerate and get worse and worse and worse. And I can tell that from Biden's reversals.
Wow.
So it's a wonderful tool for looking into the minds of our politicians, and finding out what they're really thinking.
Now, David, may I ask you, throughout your entire endeavor in digging into this, is there one specific, or maybe even just maybe 5 or 6 of them, or whatever, however many, that really stands out, that shakes you in your research and throughout your findings throughout the years? Is there one or two that sticks out in your mind?
In terms of its significance?
Yes, in terms of the significance, in terms of the of what it means and what it is.
In terms of what it's telling us, you mean? Or?
Yes.
Okay, well, look, I'd have to go to the C word on that one, okay?
Okay.
And here's Dr. Fauci, and he's talking about the V.
Okay. Hang on 1 second, because I'm going to... Hang on 1 second, because I've got a soundboard. I've got a soundboard. That way, if he says the V word, I can just have it go, uh-oh, halfway through the word. Okay, go ahead.
I think he does.
Okay, let's... You press play. I do. You press play, and I'm ready too. I think. Hang on. Ready? Yep, I'm ready. All right, go ahead. Right. Play Dr. Fauci.
Here we go. Okay.
That the federal government had been involved in the development and or facilitation of 3 separate platforms of vaccines. One was the mRNA. The other were vector, either an adenovector or a chimp vector, and the other was the soluble recombinant proteins.
Okay, only said the V word once.
Yeah.
But the significance of this reversal is great. It says, then they mark you, we'll be lost.
Then they mark you, we'll be lost.
Then they mark you, we'll be lost. Then they mark you, we'll be lost.
So why is that significant?
Yeah.
Because
government had been involved.
I think that directly refers to the mark of the beast, prophesied about in the book of Revelations. I think the V is the first step towards that process. We're looking at passports coming in very soon. Already in Australia, our Prime Minister has issued issued a public statement saying that businesses are allowed to not allow people in their store who have not had the V. We're looking at even having to have passports to buy and sell. That reversal is very scary. The mark you will be lost. So, I don't know. What I'm seeing happening inside, hey?
The mark, you will be lost. Is that what you said it said?
Then they mark you, will be lost.
Okay.
I'll play it again. Then they mark you, will be lost.
Soluble recombinant proteins. Then the mark you will be lost.
Then the mark you will be lost.
Holy,
Then the mark you will be lost.
You hear that?
holy shit. Yeah, David, the hair just stood up on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably one of the most significant ones. And you look what's happening to society as a result of all of this. I mean, you look at it and it's scary. I mean, it really is. Gee, I could. I mean, where's some of the other? Where's the reversal? I want to see if I can find the reversal that I got the title for my book from. It's on Fauci. I'm just scrolling down. Oh, okay. All right. Well, listen. No, I can't find the one I'm looking for. But here we go. Listen to this one. Get your button ready. Okay. You got your button ready?
I got my button ready. Yep.
Okay. Here we go on Fauci.
What we have right now, we have over 120, close to 130 million people have already received at least one dose of this.
Okay, one dose of this.
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
And he says backwards, now we sealed that beast.
And now we seal that beast.
And now we seal that beast. And now we seal that beast.
So, there we go. We've got Mark and we've got Beast talking about the vaccines. So you asked me what reversals scare me? Those.
Wow, David. That is unreal. Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. So, look, I don't know where all this is heading. I think we all want to know where it's all heading. I mean, our whole planet has been turned upside down in the last 18 months. And we live in a completely different world than we did in 2019. And what's happening to our freedoms and to our right of free speech is terrifying.
Yeah, it is.
Quite frankly.
Yes, sir.
And we're just sitting back placidly taking it, and it really scares me.
David, where was you? If some question as far as the book, your books go, okay, and the teachings, okay, and let's say these brains that tune into the show, okay, have some of them have been with me for 12 plus years, all right. So and they're pretty damn wide awake, okay. So and they understand what's going on. Where in turn would they begin their research through you? Where would they begin their research into reverse speech? Yes, can you point them into a right direction as far as like maybe purchasing a book? Where do they begin?
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Well, look. Okay. The best textbook on reverse speech is called A New Theory About Language. A book I wrote about 10 years ago. Okay. That will give them all the theory, all the tests, all the how-tos to get started. Now, I've actually finished writing a book now called The Great Reverse Speech Lexicon, which is a huge book. That's not published yet. I'm still in the editing process of it. So that'll be out by the end of the year, and that's a book they should all get. But find out initially what the phenomenon is. Get a bit of familiarity for what it's all about. Okay, it'll save you a lot of work and a lot of angst. Believe me. You'll short circuit 20 years. Okay, then get a software program that runs in reverse. Audacity,
Right.
our software on reversespeech.com, which is my main site. If you want to get that, and that's specifically designed for reverse speech. And start off, don't go straight for media straight away. Media actually does not contain many reversals. The best place to find them is in casual conversations, okay, between friends. And unfortunately, that means you got to. But if you, I'd say, I would suggest staying away from this to begin with. Go to YouTube. Find someone just chatting away. Okay. The more casual the conversation, the more likelihood you've got of finding reversals. Politicians can be really hard. Sometimes you only get them once every couple of minutes, which can be very frustrating. Whereas in normal conversation, you'll get them once every 10 or 15 seconds. Happen that often. So, yes. So, that's the way I would get started. And start fiddling around for yourself. If you're really serious about getting involved in a big way, of course, I have training courses I take students on. And mentors. I've got a mentor program going as well, where I take in 4 full-time students, and they train under me full-time for a year. But that's a pretty heavy commitment.
Right.
We have a basic program to get started. It's a 3-month course, 1 class every 2 weeks. That teaches you the basics of how to learn reverse speech. That's a good place to get started. If you go to my website, reversespeech.com, and click on the training courses, you'll see all about them. I would suggest you need some training. It's going to seem overwhelming when you first get started, running tapes backwards, trying to work out what's coincidence and what's random sounds and what's a genuine reversal. I've saved you all that angst by documenting it all in my books, training manuals, and I teach you all that in class. So,
yeah, I can see where this.
There are meaningless.
I can see, David, where this can confuse a lot of people, man. But yet, where this also would be a lifetime, like you yourself has made it a lifetime study. I mean, you've got the aspect of the spirit. Oh man, the aspect of the spirit speaking through the subconscious, and then like I said, I try. It's hard to even speak it into what it really is. But is it the God spirit speaking subconsciously through words and just translate it consciously, and there you have it. That's fundamentally what it is, isn't it?
That's exactly what it is. Well, in point of fact, I got a reversal that says that. Actually, let me pull this one up. Where are we? I don't know how do I main reversal files open. Where is it? IJK.
So while you look for that, let me say something about Dr. Fauci and even this current U.S. administration. If you guys, from what David's telling us, right? If we do pick out specific parts in the speeches and what these guys are saying, Dr. Fauci and all of our quote unquote leaders, right? So if we reverse it, like David's trying to tell everybody and show you how this actually works, they can't hide anything. I mean, what they thought they could hide, they can't hide. I mean, the spirit speaking through the vessel. That's amazing.
That's the implications of it. Yep. Well, what the field needs is teams of people out there reversing. I mean, I'm just one man. I do as much as I can, but there's only enough hours in the week.
Right.
I pick up what I can, but gee whiz, I want a whole bunch of other people doing this. And it's actually been my biggest frustration of my whole career is the difficulty I've had in having people take it up as a lifetime career, and it's a lot of work, and I think that puts people off. We live in a throwaway society. Not too many people are into hard work nowadays. But,
Yeah, throwaway society.
geez,
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants
But the wars
something
are immense.
easy. You hear me? Everybody wants
That's right.
something to just come easy, and what you found throughout your lifetime study. And again, it's crazy that you got started with the older backmaskings that we all grew up trying to do or doing. But you made a lifetime career out of this, and hell, now like I said, you've taught and lectured what it is, how it works, the fundamental everything about it in colleges around the world, as well as even sat with the CIA, and knowing that they're even interested in it. That's crazy, but not crazy. Welcome to the Matrix.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that no one knows anything about. Here, listen to this reverse here. This is one of my students talking to a tape recorder, and he's asking, where does reverse speech come from? I mean, is God talking in reverse? Is what he's saying. So here's the forwards.
Is there the voice of God among you? Or are you servants of divinity, servants of God? Or is there the voice of God?
Backwards it says, God was in the verse, he's the living force in reverse.
God was in the verse, he's never lost in the verse.
And again, God was in the verse, he's the living force in reverse.
God was in the verse. He's never lost in the verse.
So there you go. So that's the implications of what it is. That's the God voice, as you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Man, oh man, David. It's wow.
Pretty amazing discovery, eh?
Indeed, it truly is. Now I've got the phone line. I've got the phone lines open for everybody, right here below me.
Okay.
If you guys wish to call, there here in the U.S., the United States number would be 717-734-6904, and like always, 136-426-#1 or 1 pound, and you'll be David's guest. You can ask him whatever you would like to ask him. Australian number down where across the pond with David, be country code 618-952-03114. It's Dave, whenever I don't even know where to begin to go after what you've already said. My notes, we've covered everything in my notes in an hour. I was going to ask you. I literally was going to ask you everything. I was going to what I didn't already ask you. You have already said in my questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Shows you understand the significance of reverse speech is what that shows, which is great. It's some people just don't get it, I have 5 people ask me, well, what can you use this for? And I go, what do you mean, what can you use it for? It's like, gee whiz, that's the dumbest question I can ever think. Wow, you want access to the truth? You want access to the unconscious? You want access to the spirit? Wow, that's what you can use it for.
Well, one of the questions I do have that we didn't touch on here is, hang on, let me, where's my damn glass? I got a writer. Okay. Let me try to kind of rephrase this a little bit now that we know this. But okay, David, is there any way for us as an individual person to record us just talking, asking ourselves questions, right, and have the soul or the spirit talk to us, our own selves, through what we say or what we ask?
Yes, the answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
And you will get answers, yes.
Okay, so
But I don't necessarily like those answers.
Right.
But you'll get them.
So so I can't. Okay, continuing that question, because I got, even if you said yes or no, and okay, you said yes. Okay, so So David, I can from here ask my own self, like I'm speaking to God. I can record it. I'm speaking to God. I can ask God questions and get answers out of my reverse speech.
Yes.
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 That.
Yes.
There you go.
You can.
Enough. Paper drop. Mic drop. Holy cow. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you obviously understand the significance of
I
it
do.
by your questions.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's an incredible thing. I mean, it's what religions and philosophies have thought for millennia, is a way into the spirit. I mean, how do we tap into the spirit? I mean, we try meditation and hypnosis and, some people speak in tongues and do all sorts of crazy things to get to the spirit. But there it is all the time, speaking backwards. It's been there forever, constantly speaking, right in front of our nose the whole time. So, yeah. One of the first things that convinced me that this was... Sorry?
Nothing. I'm waiting for the switchboard to light up with people that's got questions. Come on, people. Come on. You guys have got to call this man. I know you've got questions.
Yeah, let me talk to you about one of the principles of reverse speech.
All right.
And that's what I call the principle of complementarity. And that is the forwards and the reverse relate to each other. There's this direct connection between the forward dialogue and the reverse dialogue. Like, for example, when Neil Armstrong walking on the moon says man will spacewalk. So here's an example that really illustrates this. This is from the 2016 campaign where Hillary Clinton's emails are in question and Donald Trump's asking for Hillary Clinton to release her emails. Or he's talking about Hillary Clinton's emails. So here's the forwards.
When he gave up that email thing, he said, "Here, Hillary." And you know what? That was orchestrated by the Democratic Party.
Okay, so there's two key words he says in this forwards, Hillary and email. And backwards he says, Hillary, let's see this email.
Wow. Hillary, this is...
Hillary, this is...
So we have this direct connection between what's spoken forwards and what's spoken backwards. Here's the forwards again.
When he gave up that email thing, he said, "Here, Hillary." And you know what? That was orchestrated by the Democratic Party.
And here's the reversal.
Hillary, this is...
And again.
Hillary, this is...
And what I'll do, let me run the whole track backwards, okay?
All right.
And you'll hear how these occur. You'll hear a little bit of gibberish, and then the reversal jumps up out of the gibberish, then goes back to gibberish again. So here's the whole lot backwards.
Let this off. There's no one in that. Hillary, this is Miami. That's my bag.
You hear how that just jumps up out of the gibberish like that?
Yeah.
Hillary, let's see this email.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So here's another one that's got obvious connection to the forward. This is Angelina Jolie. She says backwards, I'm very aware of my own... she says forwards, I'm very aware of my own emotions.
I grew up kind of very aware of my own emotions.
Backwards she says, I'm very aware.
I am very aware.
I am very aware.
I'm very aware.
I'm very aware.
So you have this direct connection between the forwards and the reverse dialogue. Okay? All right. Well, why don't I play you some reverse... Oh, look, here's a funny one. Here, this is, it really shows you what people think of themselves. Here's Dick Cheney talking.
All right.
When you go into those kinds of jobs, you're briefed on the enormous importance of being very careful with how you handle classified information.
Now, this verse is so typical Dick Cheney. I feel very, very smart.
Oh, if you're very, very smart.
Oh, if you're very, very smart.
Typical Dick Cheney.
Typical Dick Cheney, yeah.
I feel very, very... Yeah, so... But one of the interesting things about reverse speech I've discovered is that children are speaking backwards before they do forwards. And I've got children saying simple single words from as young as 4 months of age.
Oh.
Here's a 4 months.
Which leads me to a question that I got written down here for you. After you play it, I'll ask you the question. Go ahead.
Thank you. So here's a 4-month-old baby speaking forwards. And on it backwards, you hear the gibberish followed by this really clear hello. You hear the hello at the end? I'll do it again. Yeah. So, and one of my most people often ask me what my favourite reversals are, and one of my favourite ones is this one on my own daughter. She's playing in the bathtub, and she's trying to pick up a cup. She can't pick it up, so she reaches out to me for help. Now, this is at 13 months of age. Backwards she says, David, which is my name obviously. David, help me. I'll play it again.
Damn.
How about that, hey? Isn't that amazing?
Wow.
That's one of my favourite examples.
Okay. I got down here autistic children. Autistic children. Since you played the child, right? For those moms and dads I've done a little bit of digging on reverse speech, after meeting David and talking to him a little bit. How the autistic children, they say, well, I would love to be able to talk to him, and I would love for him to talk to me, but he can talk to you and communicate with you via reverse speech, like David's trying to tell you. And okay. I don't know. Do you have any of that, David?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
Here's an example of a 13-year-old girl who's non-verbal. She's non-verbal since birth, just talks in grunts and groans. So listen to this. Backwards she says, Mummy, love you. Hear the quick mummy, love you. Just because they're not speaking forwards doesn't mean they could very well be speaking in reverse.
Right.
The applications this has of working with handicapped kids, autistic kids, special needs kids is just exciting, monumental. I mean, I've worked with Alzheimer's patients talking them to the other end of the scale, and the forward speech is just a mumble of nothing, but backwards it's quite clear. If I can pull some of those ones up.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, come on now. Don't leave David hanging. You guys got questions. He's got answers. Or at least try. We'll try.
They aren't calling in.
They're not. They're not calling in. I can't force them to call in either. This is usually what happens. Yeah.
Maybe I'm blowing them away too much. Here we go. Here's the age cam. Okay. So, what have I got here? Oh, here's an interesting one. This is reversal. Excuse me, six. Had to cough. Here's a reversal where the reverse actually tells us that this person's on the wrong medication. So this is from an aged care home.
Where it went, darling. Yeah.
And backwards, your bad pill.
Your right pill. Your right pill.
Okay? So, and there's one here that says where she's in pain. That one is... Yeah, here's one. Here's the forwards.
I've done a lot of great stuff here, but it took away.
And this says stupid pain. Yeah.
Wow, that was very, that was like really out there, hadn't it, David? Jumped out. It just really jumps out.
Yeah.
Now, question. I'm going to add to my questions here. Now, when trying to pull out, right? When trying to pull out the reverse speech that does make and stand for significance, does it just always jump out, or is it like really, really hard to learn it and just pull it out of there?
Yeah, it doesn't always jump out like that. No, I deliberately pick the clearest ones for airplay, of course.
Okay, right.
Sometimes you really got to struggle hard to get it. Look, it's like learning a new language, but it's harder than a new language. You've got the versals sound different. You probably notice how they've got this melodic sort of echoey sound to them. Mm-hmm. So they sound different than normal forward speech. They're quick. If you blink, you can miss them. So it's really intense concentration finding them. I mean, look, 90% of my time is spent at my desk in front of my computer finding reversals. And, look, I can do it fairly easy now. It'll take me about an hour and a half to analyze a 30-minute tape. But back when I first started, it'd take me 2 days to analyze a 30-minute tape.
Right.
I mean, obviously I've improved dramatically over the years, as I've gotten used to it. And, you can make a lot of false starts. You can imagine into the gibberish. There's certain words that always reverse to say the same thing. Sometimes you can misinterpret random sounds as being a reversal when it's not. And, so there's a lot to it, and it's, like I say, it's not as simple as playing a tape backwards to find the voice of Satan.
Right.
It's a lot more involved than that. Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why I've had so much trouble in getting people to pick up the field and go with it. It's because it's so hard work, and you really got to be dedicated to it. And
Now the courses. Can I ask you what taking? These are obviously these are video format online courses, right? Because of lockdown, because of whatever.
They're live courses done in Zoom, video conferencing. Mm-hmm. Although I don't like using video, I normally just use audio only, but that's just me. Students like it with their cameras. We hold classes once every 2 weeks. It's a 3-hour class. And then you've got a fair bit of homework to do in between the classes, okay? And you turn the homework in, I mark it, and get back to you with your results and tell you where you're going right and where you're going wrong. And the first course is 3 months, so that's 6 classes over 12 weeks. Then that just really teaches the basics of how to hear them and recognize them and the first steps in interpreting. And then the second course is for another 3 months that goes right into the unconscious and the metaphors. I played you one example of that, see the wolf more in the lake, and how to interpret the deep archetypal messages that we get. Then I got another course after that, which is for a year, and this is if you want to use reverse speech professionally and make it your career. I teach hypnosis and how to change behavior. I've learned in my research a lot about human behavior and the unconscious and why and how we do certain things, and I've developed techniques for how to change behavior and alter the unconscious. So I teach all of that in that class. And I also have just introduced a mentor program, which I was surprised at how quickly it filled. I just announced it, and within 2 days it was full. Basically, I have students. Sorry?
I said, "Oh wow!" I'm also looking through your reverse speech site here, I'm going. Everybody can see.
Oh, okay.
Can see the product, see the training courses.
So the mentor program. Yeah, the mentor program is a full-time course. You work with me full-time, and I work pretty hard. So I'm really you're with me during all client work and tape analysis, poster sessions, radio interviews. I mean, they're listening to this radio show right now and learning how I present reverse speech. So
Gotcha.
that's the training program. It's a fairly in-depth program. I've written all the manuals for the course, which are in sore need of an update. So that's the next thing on my list.
Pretty awesome stuff, Dave, if you ask me, man. Especially knowing that we can, what we thought was just a backmasking in the day, right? Just a funny ha-ha and hidden message there is not really just a funny ha-ha hidden message. It truly is something. And what you've given me is it's spiritual.
Yeah, look, it just took someone like me to sit down and spend the time and work out what it was all about. Why no one else did it, I don't know, but I did. So, yeah. Look, I was just intrigued. I mean, I knew the message was there. I could hear it. I knew I wasn't imagining them in the music. I could hear them, and I'm just an intrigued guy. I want to know the answers to things, So that's what I've come up with, reverse speech.
Wow. Well, what other talking points do you have? Let me ask you that one, because I mean, again, I've got
a lot of them.
Because I've got my questions. I'm added to them. What you throw us to a talking point?
Oh, gee whiz. Well, there's so many ways I can go. Let me play you. Let me talk about some of the different aspects of reverse speech. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of reversals that we call premonition reversals, where they look into the future. And this is one of the. This is a really creepy one. This is JFK giving his inaugural address in January 1961.
The slow undoing of those human rights to which this nation has always been committed and to which we are committed today at home and around the world.
And this one says, head is hit in the car.
Oh, boy.
Head is hit in the car. Head is hit in the car.
And again.
Head is hit in the car.
And what happened to him? His head was hit in the car with a bullet. Anyone who's seen the video knows that fatal headshot. So here he was, looking into the future 2.5 years and foretelling his own death. Call these premonition reversals. And I found one in September of 2019. Made me think something big was about to hit America, and I went on several radio shows and said something's about to happen to the United States. I don't know what it is, but something is, and it was all based on this reversal here that I found on a client. Here we go.
He was very much a control freak in that sense, and she felt very powerless and also very suppressed, like I did.
Right.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what I thought she would say.
This one says Southern USA.
Southern USA.
Southern USA.
And again.
Southern USA.
Okay, something's coming, folks.
That one just really jumped out there, Dave. That one really jumped out there.
Yeah, I know.
Angela Black says, I'm looking at the chat here. She says, if our eyes actually see upside down and it's flipped in our brain to look right side up, perhaps we hear speech in the same way.
Yeah, I totally agree. I use the same analogy myself. Yeah. The fact that the brain has reversing functions has been documented for a long time. You got the left and right brain hemispheres And yes, sight is reversed by the lens of the eyes. Children children will sometimes learn to crawl backwards before they crawl forwards, and the fact that it's happening in our speech is really no stretch of logic to suggest that, because we know the brain does this anyway. That's what I'm saying. Hey, sight does it, so does speech. There you go. What can I say?
Dave, are you allowed to? Are you allowed to? Because this show is all about breaking the fabric of reality and digging deeper into the matrix that we live in. Are you able to share with us how? What would be some questions? What would be some questions that our ABC boys would have asked you prior to even being here? What would they be asking? What would they want to know?
The ABC boys?
Yeah, the ABC boys. What would our CIA be asking you, David Oates? What the hell about reverse speech? What were some of the questions? Because I know they had to have been. They had to have been deep. They want to know.
Oh yeah, well I go back to my lectures to the CIA, and look, they were actually surprisingly quiet when I gave the lecture. I played many examples. I showed the results of testing I've done that proved it existed. After I gave the lecture, one of them came up to me and said, "Look, we're going to do some research into this, and we'll keep you posted." I never heard from them again. So what research they did, I don't know. I did work for the FBI on the David Koresh case in Waco, Texas. They asked me to do a personality profile on Koresh based on his reversals, which I did, and turned into them, and gave them a couple of things that they could do that would make Koresh come out, which his reversal said. And they were either if he let his mum in, or if they all went away, left him alone, he would come out. Of course, neither of those two things happened. Of course, we know what happened. It all burnt to the ground.
Right.
Yes.
Man.
So what the sort of questions, are, how can we use it? How do you know it's telling the truth? I mean, that is based on 38 years of experience. I know it's telling the truth.
I want to dig a little bit deeper on the spiritual side of this. Okay. With that being said, I don't know if you were a spiritual person, religious person, but did what you're doing have any change on your being as far as religious belief goes, spiritual belief, the validity of source?
Significant change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Before I started doing reverse speech, I was involved. I was a Pentecostal pastor. I was a youth pastor, and that's why I was doing the drop-in center. So I was very much a Pentecostal, charismatic, fundamentalist Christian. Reverse speech has taught me that's a very narrow-minded perspective on life, and there's a whole lot more to the soul and the spirit and God than that very narrow perspective and thinking. I've since reverse speaking in tongues, and they are very nasty reversals, and everyone I've looked at, so that's a practice I don't practice anymore. Look, I've become to believe that God is more than just the being in the sky. He's alive and active, and he lives inside of us. It goes by many different names. There's many different paths to God, and not just one, and God is all-encompassing. I believe that we create our reality through our thoughts. I see that happen in reverse speech. I will see someone's reversals say something, and then 2 or 3 days later I'll see it happen in their life. So yeah, look, I am nowhere near anything like fundamentalist or Pentecostal anymore now. My whole religious beliefs have changed based on what I've learned through reverse speech.
More open-minded. No, are you scared? Are you scared of dying after what you know now? Or do you know that? Or do you know that you'll live on?
Everyone's scared of dying, but I do know that I'll live on. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, reverse speech has assured me of it.
I
actually found a reversal just
this week of that? Is that what you said?
this week about.
I got
who
a
was that on? Who was that on?
I got a comment here for you,
Yeah,
David.
sure.
Lisa Ayo says, "I'm driving, Matt, but can't call in. But does being able to read backwards help to learn to do this technique a little faster? Thank you."
Oh, I have never been asked that question. I've never done any work with it, so I don't know. No, I don't know. I can't help with it. I've never been asked that question. So no, I don't know. I'm trying to find the quote reversal I found just this week about living on. I'm trying to think who I found it on. Gee, I can't remember now.
Was it someone
hang on,
mainstream, Dave?
Here we go. It was a documentary I was doing on reincarnation. I'm planning out my next book, and my next book, which I've already started writing, is all about reverse speech and the evangelical and New Age movements. Okay, and I'm doing channeling and reincarnation and fundamentalist preachers and I'm right in the middle of a research project. So I was doing reversals on a documentary about a boy who claimed he lived before. And in one section, the past life research talks about going to meet God when we die, I think. Yeah, let's just play the forwards.
Okay.
On the one hand, you've got science that says once you die, that's it, that's the end, nothing else. On the other hand, you've got a belief system that says you will survive, you will be reunited with your loved ones.
And where he says you will survive, he says backwards, here we will.
We will.
Okay, so here we will survive. And I've got one that says we will live forever. Let me see if I can put my hand on that one at the top of my head. Trouble is, I have got hundreds of thousands of reversals.
I'll bet you do.
I forget where they all are sometimes. It gets a little bit frustrating. Oh, here they are. Got them. Okay, so these are all my soul reversals. Or here, let me play a couple first off. This is one on a reverse speech analyst who's talking to his client, okay?
Will likely get reversals that are pretty clearly from your unconscious mind, your subconscious.
And here he says, soul serve you, make you feel love.
Soul serve you, make you feel love.
Soul serve you, make you feel love. Soul serve you, make you feel love.
Isn't that a nice reversal, hey?
Soul
serve you, make you feel love.
That is a very
And here's one I found on
foundational one.
And here's one I found on me when I was going through a real period of depression in my life. My son had died, drowned, unfortunately, and anyway, a whole lot of things were going bad wrong in my life. And I'm in a class talking to students, trying to find out why I'm so depressed. And in this one section, I say, well, maybe it's because I'm so sensitive to energy.
Could be. Yeah, could be. Well, see, I'm very sensitive to energy. Ultra sensitive to energy.
And this one says, my soul give the pain. And listen to the anguish in the voice. My soul give the pain.
My soul give the pain.
Oh, wow.
My soul give the pain.
Hear that?
I do.
My soul give the pain.
And you can hear the anguish, can't you?
Yeah.
So I booked in myself for session work after I found that reversal. But here's one that says, "Soul, I'll live forever."
I've got to follow life my way, and I'm still not sure what my way is yet, by the way.
And "Soul, I'll live forever."
I'll live forever. I'll live forever.
A bit fast.
I'll live forever.
So it's a little bit fast, that one.
Oh,
What was
yeah.
that?
Yeah.
But yes, one. And I've just got so many reversals about the soul and the spirit, and gee whiz, where do I even start? Yeah, which ones shall I play? Here's one talking about. Here's one that uses a metaphor. Very confident man forwards.
I was secure in knowing where my place in the world was and what the universe, what was out there, basically.
This says the soul whirlwind.
The soul whirlwind.
The soul whirlwind. The soul whirlwind.
And whirlwind is a common metaphor reverse speech. It talks about an energy field that surrounds the physics, that surrounds the planet and surrounds the physical body. Very common metaphor. Talks a lot about the whirlwind. A very common metaphor in mythology as well.
Wow.
And here's one that says, "Our soul looks down in heaven." There we go.
You know how the role of passing it on to your kids from what you've learned, and you bring them up the best you can, but you've passed traits on to them, and that's what it was. But
right. Well, that's
you can't
traditional. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can't always blame
And our soul looks down in heaven.
us. Oh, it looks down in heaven. Us. Oh, it looks down in heaven.
Us. Oh, it looks down in heaven.
Look, reverse speech is very much a spiritual phenomenon. It talks a lot about the soul and heaven and God, who goes by many names in reverse. It's very much a strong theme of reverse speech, is our spiritual nature. And I think once society as a whole accepts reverse speech and accepts the technology, it's going to be one of the first concrete proofs that we have that there is indeed a spiritual world in which we live, and we are affected by spiritual forces. Reverse speech verifies that.
Damn.
And they cannot always necessarily be good. For example, here's a client talking about making investments. He actually went bankrupt. I'll give you a prelude. So he went bankrupt shortly after I made this recording.
Strong feeling
Okay.
from the positive that yes, they're ready to come through.
Yeah.
They're just pushing to come through.
Right.
Yeah, that is very, very strong.
Uh-huh.
In fact, that's a lot stronger than the uncertainty of the negative.
Yeah, he says, "And my soul with the devil."
The more soul together.
The more soul together. The more soul together.
There you go. That'll put chills down your spine, won't it?
Yeah, boy.
Anyway, and that's why he went bankrupt, I guess. Yeah. And and sometimes we, and sometimes they can say nasty things about the soul. Like, here's this one here.
So I do apologise a lot for things that maybe don't need apologising for. So I don't know, maybe there is something in it. Maybe, on that deeper unconscious, I do feel that, I'm dumb, or I don't like to say the words out loud because I wouldn't like to think that I think that way about myself. But
And this says, "My spirit, you're damned."
my spirit, yeah, damn it. My
Wow.
spirit, yeah, damn it. My spirit, yeah, damn it.
So they are not necessarily nice reversals about the soul or the spirit.
Yeah, I know. Wow, man. See, did we get into how the reverse speech has pretty much, from what you said, come out and pre-predicted what's going on in our world today? What's going on right now with the lockdowns, the mandatory V's, all of that shit?
Yes, Well, I played you the reversals about
The
about
Mark.
the Mark and the Beast. I played you those two reversals. Here's one found just a few months ago that gives a prediction for what's coming. What's she saying?
Oh, well, Deb is suggesting we talk about 2020 when January.
Oh, I see. Right. Talking about this was recorded last year, sorry.
She's thinking, or she's read, that the whole world changes. And
To see a bad world war. Oh, you see a bad world war. Or I can play you. Actually, I've got a whole bunch of reversals that answer that question. Let me see.
No.
Where did I file them?
So,
Yeah, go on.
Does this help to like maybe see? Who knows? We talk about the premonition of war here, but we also speak about on the Matrix Minds here of the ascension. Okay, the ascension of the consciousness, the ascension of the soul, the mind.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that's what we're looking at. Yes. This is just a small little glitch in the road that is almost necessary. It has to happen for us to ascend to the next level. We've got to get rid of the darkness to ascend to the light. And I've got a verse on Trump that talks about that, about this is the battle for the light. I just don't know where it is at the top of my head. Yes, Reverse Speak talks a lot about that. Absolutely, yes. But we have more dark times to come before that ascension can happen. But it will happen. I believe I'm going to see it in my lifetime. I really do.
David, look, I don't doubt you a bit. Tell you what, let's take a call from an area code. It's 843 area code 843. Welcome to the Matrix Minds with myself and Mr. David Oates. Welcome to the Matrix. Who is this? Hello.
This is Blanche. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Blanche. How are you doing?
Okay.
What's your
I
question
hadn't
for
called
David?
for a while.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you did. We're glad you did. We're about to hang it up. We're getting bored talking to one another. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I've been sitting on here for 15 minutes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. What I wanted to ask him, he said earlier, kids with or people with brain damage or can't speak clearly, I was wondering if somebody had been in an accident and had the brain stem messed up, but they can still say stuff like "love you," but you got to be listening whenever she talks, or hi.
She speaks from experience.
Yes, it's my niece.
Yeah,
I was
speak from experience because my daughter. Go ahead.
Her accident happened about 20 years ago, and she's like a baby, and she's hitting about 40 now. But I was wondering if that reverse would help any at all.
Absolutely would. Yes, I can speak from experience because my daughter suffered a severe traumatic brain injury about 20 years ago when she fell at 40 feet in the shopping centre. And we used reverse speech to find out what the damage was. When she couldn't talk, she was speaking in reverse. So we were able to get communication with her. And I was also able to use reverse speech to reverse the damage that it had done to her brain using hypnosis over a period of a year or two. The doctors gave her no chance of surviving, and then they said she'd be institutionalized for the rest of her life. But to see her now, there's nothing wrong with her. She's functional. She's got a successful job. She has a happy, fulfilled life. So yeah. So
No.
yes, reverse speech can work with that and can help that.
Well, I don't think it would help her that much because she has also a lot of body damage too.
Oh, I see.
Along with the brain damage. But I was hoping something like that would help because I had my grandson. Whenever he was little, he would talk so fast that you couldn't understand a word he was saying. And I bought him one of these little microphones for Christmas. And he started talking through it, and you could understand every word he was saying.
Oh, really?
I didn't know. Yeah. But, yeah, he was a fast talker. But that microphone slowed it down. But that's why I was asking you about the reverse, if it would help. Because she can...
Yes, it would help.
Okay. Well, I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, Blanche, you heard where that one girl that David had recorded that he said was speechless from birth. Is that right, Dave? Was speechless from birth.
That's correct.
And could not speak.
Yeah.
And you clearly heard her tell her mom, "Love you, mommy." See
well, that's why I was calling. That's why I was calling to find out if it would help with brain damage.
Yes, it will. Yes.
Wow. Had a 330 area code from Ohio call and then leave. So 330, give me a call back here. Yeah, it's probably because I didn't want to interrupt you, David, whenever you were talking.
Yeah.
330 area code call, but go ahead and call back the show here.
Yeah, I wish he'd have had that speech where Kennedy did. How was that? He went, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what your country can do for him.
What you can do for your country.
I wish he had that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says backwards on that speech, give Jack all your food, is what he says.
What?
Give Jack all your food.
Is what the reversal is.
No way.
All
That's
your food, Food.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what it said. Let me see if I can pull that one up. I don't know whether I've got that one handy. Look, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Give Jack all your food. No, it's not there. H. Yeah, no, I don't have that one handy to play. Sorry.
That's all right.
But yeah, go and reverse it yourself. Find the speech. Ask not what your country can do, but what can you do for your country? And backwards, it's give Jack all your food.
Wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, by the way, just tried to ban Mr. David Gomez. He's been in there quite a couple times, and I was just waiting. But anyway, yeah, that's fine.
I remember way back in the 80s whenever you brought that out about the reverse, but I could never figure out how to do it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've been around for many, many years.
Well, I have too.
Blanche, throw out some more stuff, man. Throw out some more stuff. Me and David, I've literally I've asked this man what question I didn't have about it. He's already went above and beyond my questions. I mean, I understand it.
Well, has he had anything about aliens?
One more time.
Aliens? Yeah. Aliens? Yes. That's going to be my book next year. Is all about UFOs. Let me see if I can pull up my stuff on that one real quick and play you some stuff about that. I just got to find out what subfolder I've got them in.
Yeah, I went and got me a pair of binoculars so whenever those little balls come back over my head again, I can look at them better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see. Right.
Well, they're way up in the sky, and you can't really see them that good with my little binoculars, so I went and got me a big pair.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here's all my UFO files. All right, you want to reverse about an alien? All
Yes,
right,
yes.
Here is, okay, here's a guy named Victor who claimed he worked for Area 51. He came out in the late 90s, and he did a few radio shows, and he made a documentary. He claimed to have witnessed alien autopsies and interviews with live aliens. So here's one here.
Not effectively.
So, okay, let's go back to the beginning. Okay, here we go.
So you're saying we really have not effectively communicated with them. There has been no vocal communication?
The aliens do not speak.
Or it says the aliens do not speak. Backwards he says, it's from the Pallades.
It's unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar.
How about that, hey?
Yeah.
There you go. So there's an alien reversal. Here's a Roswell reversal, talking about the Roswell craft.
I'm sorry,
This is an Air Force spokesman who's basically debunking the whole Roswell thing.
I'm sorry, I just don't have any information for that. All I know is what the Air Force did, and that if you overlay much of their claims and you look at the Air Force scientific research, you can see it's obvious that what we're talking about at Roswell.
And here it says backwards, share a secret with NASA.
Sure, secret with NASA.
Sure, secret with NASA. Sure, secret with NASA.
So I'd like to know what the secret was they shared with NASA from Roswell, hey?
Well, I think there's plenty of aliens over there.
I think you're right.
I've seen a lot in my lifetime. But, yeah, there's all kinds of aliens out there. Just a lot of people just don't see them that often. And there's enough UFOs running around. I know my mother seen one about 2 months before she passed away, right down the road from her house. It just went straight up in the air.
I'm going to do all that research. Yeah, I'm going to do all that research next year into UFOs and ETs, and I'm going to write a book on it next year sometime. Okay.
Huh.
Do you got any more questions for Mr. David Oates here, Blanche?
No, but it was nice talking to y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice talking to you. Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Blanche. Okay. Take care of yourself. Don't get beamed up.
I'm not. They don't want to beam me up. I'll fight them all the way.
Beam me up, Blanche. All right, honey. Thank you. I'll talk to you later. Okay. Good night to you.
Okay then.
All right. Bye.
Good night. Bye-bye.
Okay, Mr. David.
All right.
I'm surprised.
Well, how are we going here? We must be running out of time, mustn't we?
We are. I got the area code 330 call back in here. So area code 330-978 is an Ohio number. Welcome to the Matrix Minds with myself and David Oates. Welcome to the Matrix. Who is this?
Hi, Matt. Hi, David. This is Lisa.
Hey, Lisa.
Hi, how are you all?
We're good.
That's great. I just had a question. I have a family member who suffers from schizophrenia, and I was wondering if you've ever done any recordings of schizophrenic people talking, and if you've got any conclusions from that.
Yes, I have. Schizophrenia is a very difficult condition to work with, unfortunately. Yeah. But yes, reversals. Yes, I have got some good reversals on schizophrenia. I've worked with the schizophrenics in my practice over the years with varying degrees of success. I wouldn't say it's one of my great successes. Very difficult to work with schizophrenia. So, I remember one client I worked with, he was talking about all his ET contacts. He talked to him all the time, and the reversals just basically came and said, I'm delusional.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's so hard to work with them. I was really hoping that, Because they talk, they talk so strange, and you just sometimes want to know, exactly what they mean, and it's so hard to understand what they mean. So I just wanted to know if you've had any success with it. But have you done any recordings of Elon Musk or anyone like that?
Oh, you know what? I haven't, but what a wonderful project. Oh, you just put an idea in my head. No, I haven't.
I'm glad.
I would surely like to. Yeah.
Well, what you do, I'm absolutely fascinated with you. You're absolutely fascinating. I mean, this is just amazing. I mean, I hope you could probably in the future develop software and an app. I mean, wow, it's just amazing.
Yes. Yeah. That's what's on our plans for the future. Yeah.
Good. That's wonderful. Okay. Well, that was my question. You take care, and you guys have a great night.
You too, Miss Lisa.
Go.
Honey, thank you. We'll talk to you again. Appreciate it. Anything? Nothing more for David?
No.
Okay. All righty.
All right.
All right. Good night to you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Yeah, Mr. David. Awesome. It's been awesome to be with you for the last hour and a half, for an hour and 45 minutes, man. It really has. There's a lot of things that I didn't know that I wanted even myself to ask you about it. I mean, I've studied it a little bit, but that's one of the things that I wanted to ask you. How long it took you to get where you're at now, and you told me that it's been a lifetime journey.
It's been a lifetime journey. Yeah. Well, I've had to develop a whole technology from scratch, basically. Yeah, I mean, it's a whole new field that I've started from the ground up and built and developed. So, yeah, I was just driven with a passion. Once I realized what it was all about, it was like, how can I not devote my life to this? It's such an important discovery.
All righty. My friend,
so, anyway,
go to the
go to my website.
I'm gonna check that out. I'm going there now. Which book do you think that these guys should jump on first, David? Because right now I'm on David Oates. So let's go go over to.
Well, look, the best book I would say is It's Only a Metaphor.
It's Only a Metaphor.
That would tell you all about my life, how it's covered, and all the theories. It's Only a Metaphor. There you go.
It's Only a Metaphor. Oh, that's his guy. That book, David, has got its own website. It's onlyametaphor.com. So I'm going to drop this link into the sandbox for everybody.
Okay.
Everybody, heads up in the chat. Heads up in the sandbox, because here it comes. It's Only a Metaphor. What is this? Go over real quick what this touches on, David.
It's Only a Metaphor is an autobiographical account of my research and discovery of reverse speech, how I discovered it, how I developed all the theories. It goes into all the theories, all the tests, and also all my adventures along the way, my work with government agencies and law enforcement, and I've had a couple of death threats, and I go into that, and all the trials and tribulations I've had. So it'll give you the whole complete picture of reverse speech.
Okay. Awesome. You guys can also find him on Facebook. He is the proud man standing in front of that ham radio. That's a badass ham radio. Mr. David Oates, David Oates, David Oates. You guys also find him on davidoates.com and reversespeech.com. I do believe that touches all bases and all avenues there, doesn't it, Mr. Oates? I think.
Yep, I think so. Thanks very much for having me. Okay.
Buddy, thank you too. Hey, I'm going to throw you under the microscope here. Nobody really leaves the Matrix Minds, including guests, without saying something positive to humanity from your soul. So say something to everybody positive for everybody to take home about humanity. Give them something positive.
Know yourself, who you really are. Do not be afraid to look beyond your own beliefs and envisage something greater, because something greater is there, and it's only our fears that hold us back. And if all of humanity believes that, we will see the new age come. There we go.
Damn. Awesome, Mr. David. We appreciate you being here.
Sir.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you. I hope we'll do this again sometime. Okay? We will definitely touch base another time.
My pleasure.
All right, buddy. Good night to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. David Oates. Man, oh man, that is a fascinating man right there. I hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight. Learned a little bit about reverse speech and how the spirit speaks through reverse speech. That's right there, David Oates. Absolutely awesome man. I know I'm going to start recording myself and listening to how my spirit speaks through that, through my conscious speak forward, but not knowing what it's saying in reverse until go to Audacity. Let me do that right real quick. Share something with you brains that's wanting would be interested in that. Some software. So I'm going to share my screen right real quick like I always do. Heads up. Go to Google. We'll just go to Google. Type in there Audacity and get rid of this number. Get rid of the number scrolling down below here. And I'll just maximize this screen. Bam, there we go. And Audacity, Audacity. It's called audacityteam.org, the very top one. So if you go to Google it, or if you can go to Google, download, whatever, it's just going to send you to Audacity. And again, audacityteam.org, and you go to the download page, blam, click that. It's for Windows, Macintosh, Linux, you name it. And then if I were to, you guys have already seen what I use it. I do use this. Again, free to use. Let me pop open the screen. Since we've got like 10 minutes, it's only an hour and 53 minutes in the podcast here. Let me pop open something right real quick. Open up, import a file, import audio. Alright. You guys have all heard whenever I've got James Harper on here, right? You guys have all heard the whenever James Harper comes on, you guys have always all heard me say, okay, James, I am the darkness, or whatever. You guys have heard me say that, play that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you right real quick, and display capture, 1 second. There. Capture cursor, yeah, there you go. Now you guys can see my screen. And hopefully you guys can see the Audacity screen. I do believe, yeah, you guys can see the Audacity screen. So this is what it sounds like forward, right? Okay, so again, Audacity, that is the software I showed you. And if I were to want to reverse this, I would highlight this, okay? And there's a tool in here. It's called Effects. And you can reverse it. See it right here? Reverse. So now this is reversed. So let's play it in reverse. I don't know what the hell that just said. All I'm telling you, it said probably, I don't know what, I don't know what, yeah. It said jibber jabber. It said, no, I don't know what the hell. Anyway, again, showing you guys the, let's see, video display capture, get rid of that. Hang on 1 second. And go back to, I'm going to remove that. Yes. All right, go back. Download Audacity, and that will get you guys started playing around with what, like I said, with what Mr. David Oates has got. He said he would like you guys to go to It's Only a Metaphor first. So it's only a metaphor.com. You can get to him that way. DavidOates.com, and or try to find him on Facebook right here at David Oates. All right, man. Cool. Kim says I can't hear it. Oh, it's because the audio is down. What the hell? There you go. You want to do it again? Nah, I'm not gonna do it again. What the hurt? I heard nothing. There you go. Yeah. Because I turned it down. David had left, and that would be the reason why. There you go. Let's do this again. You've heard it. You've heard this forward. Let me undo it real quick. Undo it. This is what it sounds like.
I am the Lord of Darkness.
All right, you heard that. That was forward. Like I said, here.
I am the Lord of Darkness.
And again, in Audacity, you highlight it, go up here to Effects, scroll down to Reverse it, and then it'll play it reverse. Alright? And you can also slow it down. Right here is the playback speed. You can slow it down. So again, just right there. Weird. But again, you guys want to play with it? That's how you play it. Just all right. There you go, Brainiacs. That's how you play with Audacity. Yeah, I mean, it's something, like I said, learning what David's doing and how he's doing it is awesome. Absolutely awesome. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I loved having him here. I totally did. I think David is a wonderful person. He brings a whole other avenue of light to our reality. I think he's on something here. It's creepy. Very creepy stuff. Barbara says it's creepy. Yeah, man. Reverse speech. Founded by Mr. David Oates. Again, it all started back in the 80s whenever we all did backmasking. He's like, there's something here. Yeah. So again, How the Soul Speaks in Reverse. I appreciate you guys for being with me and my guest, David Oates, for the entire evening. Share this podcast, share the show, and if you guys can be so kind as to donate to help us keep going, keep broadcasting, we appreciate that as well. And to all of the sponsors, to all of the donators, we appreciate you so very, very much. Shout out to you, love to you. Until then, we'll catch you guys here on Monday. You guys enjoy your weekend, and like always, you brainiacs, Matrix Breakers. Matthew Turner here with the Matrix Minds. You guys are the Matrix Breakers and the Brainiacs. You guys continue to question reality. Question everything. My bad. Even reality. Good night, everybody. Take care of yourself. I love you. Peace out. shout out one more time to everybody on the Bcast. That'd be everybody streaming live on Facebook, Black Sheep Media, as well as the Matrix Minds. Everybody there on YouTube, Matrix Minds, Black Sheep Media crowd, Twitch, Videocast, we see you. Thank you for being with us. In the audio world side of things would be iHeartRadio, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Pandora Radio, Amazon, everywhere in between. We do appreciate you. Shout out Miss Angela Catroar, Blanche Taylor, Mr. J. Pashuk, Marnie Taylor, Kara Durham, Miss Vicky Saddles, Mike Pyle, Patricia, Bullington. You guys take care of yourselves. We'll catch you here. Be safe. Take care, everybody.